Alright guys, so this is going to be the in-depth kind of walkthrough of the O'Reilly email agent that I posted on YouTube. It's a pretty simple workflow that is very advanced, does a lot of advanced things. It reads all of your emails, it decides whether or not it should be replied to. If it's not and it's spam, it gets archived, you never even have to see it. If it is, the Riley, the agent, it crafts a reply, sends the message, notifies you, and then also categorizes and labels it in your inbox for you to find easily. A couple of things I want to point out. I'm using Gmail personally, but you can replace these Gmail nodes with Outlook, Yahoo, whatever email provider that you guys use, and also the Slack. That's just what I chose to get notified on, but you guys can use Telegram, Discord, WhatsApp, whatever you guys want. Again, it's your preference. Besides that, everything else is pretty framework when it comes to customizing. Also, I did use Gemini as my LLM. You guys can use OpenAI if you guys want, but I think that's about it for customizing. Everything else is pretty framework. So yeah, let's get into it. All right, so the Gmail trigger, right? This entire workflow runs around the Gmail trigger because it is an email agent. As soon as you receive an email to your inbox, that is when the workflow actually starts. Um, so all you have to do is connect your Gmail account, your credentials. If you don't know how to do that, let me know in the chat in the server, and I'll go and explain to you guys how to do that. I don't have a video up on that yet, just because that's a little bit more beginner innate in tutorial type of content. So if there are enough people who are beginners to AI automation and innate altogether, I'll drop that tutorial. But if not, then you guys should know how to just connect your account. Okay, and then I have it to run every minute. You can change this to be less than that, more than that if you would like. Again, it's totally up to you. And then event message received. So again, it's triggered on every message received from your inbox. Okay, so it reads the message, and then this JavaScript code is actually just taking all the important bits of what was sent in the email, because we don't need all of this information. Okay, there's only going to be a little bit of that information that we actually need to get what we need and do what we need to do. So this, again, I'll paste it in the Discord for you guys. Don't worry about having to copy all this bar for bar, because I will have it in the resources in the server. But what this is doing essentially is just grabbing all the important bits from the received email. So you can see over here, we have all this information from the received email, but what we do need is the message ID, the subject, who it's from, the actual email, and what time it was received at. So that is what this node is doing. Okay, and then moving forward, we have the AI agent. So this is who is actually crafting the email for you guys. And a little bit deeper, we have Gemini, who is crafting the response. Like I said, you guys can use OpenAI or whatever LLM you guys choose. Me personally, I think Gemini is really good with things like this. So again, you log in. I'm using Gemini 2.5 Flash. You come into the AI agent, the user message, set it to define below, and then you just want to bring in the Java from the previous node so that it knows it's receiving all of this information. The important bits again, so that it can actually craft a response that actually matches what the email is saying. So then you have your system prompt. This is the most important part of this AI agent. I made a video on Instagram telling you guys how important it is that you prompt your system messages correctly and be as detailed and specific as possible for your AI to understand it. And it is also in markdown format, how I taught you guys. So again, I'm gonna have that in the Discord. You guys don't have to worry about copying that bar for bar. Okay, so next we have the structured output parser. This is actually also optional because all it's doing is just converting the output to a JSON format like this. But I did find out recently that it does that by default, so you guys actually don't need this. If you do want it though, I'll have this in the Discord as well, for you guys to copy. Okay, so it receives the email and then it creates the output. And in the output, it gives us a couple of things: the category, if we should reply, the subject, and the message that it's going to reply with. So the AI is actually smart enough to know what type of email it's receiving. As you can see up here, the category is sales inquiry. Now, it was able to just read the email that I got and know that it is a sales email, and that's going to be used for later on down the road. So once it has the response, it goes through this if node, and this is just saying if the should reply is true. So if you just drag this over here like that, if it is true, that means that we should reply. If it is false, that means we should not reply. And it checks this before it even creates the response. So if it does not require a response, it is immediately spam. We never have to see it. We don't hear from them again. That's done. Okay. But if the should reply is true, meaning that it is a real email, also convert types will require. I just have that on just to kind of, prevent anything that could happen. Okay. So it is true. So the first thing that it does after figuring out whether or not it should reply is send the message. Okay. So again, connect your account and it's going to be a send a message node. Okay. And then we have two, and then again, we just drag and drop from the good old stuff that we got from either here in the JavaScript node or the Gmail trigger node. Okay, from, you're going to put that right there because we're going to be replying to the person that sent it, right? So to, who it's from, the subject, what the subject was, email type, you can do HTML or text, that is up to you, and then the actual message. So that we're getting that from the AI agent, and then it's going to be what the AI actually crafted the response to be based on the system message that we gave it. Okay. And for the options, I always go to options, I click append innate attribution, and I turn it off. Because if you don't, there's always going to be this little weird annoying innate watermark at the bottom. You just don't want that on your thing. Okay. And then reply to sender only, check that so that it doesn't accidentally CC someone or anything weird like that. You don't want it to send as a new email. You want it to send as a reply to the email that they sent. Okay, so after it sends the email, it then notifies you. So for me, I chose Slack. Just connect your Slack account, message send to a channel, and there is some setup that you have to do on the Slack dashboard website. So again, let me know if you don't know how to do that. I'll make a video explaining and going through how to do that. And yeah, I'll be able to show you guys. So this is the message text that I get. And again, this is also completely customizable. This is just how I like it. So it says new email handled by AI, who it's from, the subject, the category, and what the AI sent. So again, we're just dragging and dropping a bunch of the stuff that we got from the previous nodes on over to the new ones, which is something that I completely love about Innate-In. It's never too hard to not understand. You know, you always have the drag and drop little bits here so that everything can be dynamic. Okay, that's why it's an agent and not an automation. Because if you guys don't know the difference between an automation and an agent, an automation is just something that follows a set preset um, task, basically. It's following a preset kind of form of task, and its job is just to do that task over and over and over again. Well, now with an agent is dynamic. An agent is able to receive different information and know what to do with it every time. So even though, yes, its job is to reply to emails, it's going to be replying to different types of email, and it has to craft different type of responses every single time and notify you every single time, label them different every single time. So it's able to work with what it has and kind of build on top of that in a way. So the Slack You have your channel set up, simple text message, um, the message here, emoji code, email, that's all customizable stuff. This is just for the bot that's actually sending you the message. The profile picture can be an email emoji. Okay, and then send as user, a Novacore email agent bot. So let me know if you guys want a video, because the Slack setup was probably the most time consuming part of it. It wasn't difficult, but it just take a little bit of configuring. So let me know if you guys actually want that tutorial. Okay, so after it notifies me, after it sends a message, then it goes on to determine which type of email it is so that it gets labeled correctly in my inbox. So we have this if node, and again, everything is drag and drop. So if the category, which we got from the AI agent, if the category is equal to sales inquiry, then it gets put in sales. But if it does not equal sales, then it goes down to this if. So here we have, if the category is equal to support, then it goes and gets labeled under support if it's true. But if it's false, then it can only be one other thing, which is a partnership. So if the output is equal to partnership, true, then it gets labeled as a partnership email. And I know you guys are probably asking, well, what's the difference between partnership and sales email? Well, this is kind of in a broader way for my business. For partnership email, I'm considering it more of like B2B, like brand deals, brand collaborations, and things like that. Sales email is potential clients, potential customers to my business. And then support would be existing clients, existing customers who probably has some trouble with something that we set up for them, or they have a question about something, or something in their system has gone wrong, or anything that they would need support for. Okay. And then if they are support emails, our agent or Riley does email them back, but it's just a simple, our support team will be with you within 48 hours. And then we kind of go and help them out. But that is how you set up Riley. Um, if you haven't seen my YouTube video on seeing how Riley actually works, go ahead and check that out. The video link will be in the Discord as well. If you guys have any other questions or concerns about anything that I explained in this video or about the workflow itself, let me know. And I'll also be dropping everything you need to set this up, as well as the template for the workflow itself. So I'm actually saving you guys a bunch of time for not even having to set up the workflow yourself. You could just download the file once I send it. You're gonna come up here, you're gonna import from file, put it in, and boom, you have the entire thing right at your fingertips. And all you have to do is connect your credentials to where they are needed. So that's it for this video. Let me know if you have any questions, any concerns, and yeah, thanks guys.